we're back in Proverbs, right? Back in Proverbs 13, chapter 13, and we're still talking about in Proverbs, you know, the central theme of Proverbs is simple. And that simple theme of Proverbs is that there are two things in life you can be, according to Solomon, as far as character goes. And what Solomon says is that either you can be a fool or you can be wise. Those are the dynamics. Good afternoon. He said either you're a fool or you are wise. And so he says that if you are a fool, then basically a wise man will take instruction. A fool requires many stripes. So basically what he's saying is that you can either get it the easy way or the hard way. The easy way is to be wise. The hard way is somebody got to beat you. You got to fall down 5-6 times before you learn. Okay? So that's the difference between a fool and a wise man. Okay? Now all of us have been fools at one time in our life, right? Yeah. That's right. That's right. Because but about different things, right? For example, look how many folks run credit cards up. Like they don't know if you run a credit card up, it's gonna mess you up. Right? That's what. I was a fool. Why? Because the first time I got my credit bad, I should have knew better the second time, right? That's been a fool. How many of you all dated the same kind of person twice? That's a fool. Why? You didn't learn the first time. If you did the first time it didn't work, well, how would you go for the same kind of person the second time? Right? That's a fool. It didn't work. I mean, it's just practical stuff. That's how fools operate. And you know yourself, there are people that there's one person they're the same kind of person. We word them again, the same kind of person. Then they'll say something like this: why do I always attract them kind of people? You didn't attract them kind of people. You sought those kind of people, right? And that's what fools do. Is they make the same mistakes all the time. Okay, all right. So that's what Paul says. What is that? Paul? Sorry, Solomon. But similarly, Solomon says that wise people are not afraid of instruction, right? Wise people seek to learn. Wise people seek to get information because they understand something. And that is, with information, it is power, right? The more you know, the more you grow. The more you know and the more you apply what you know, the better off you will become, right? And so that's what Solomon says. So that's one thing that everyone ought to be thinking about, not just in Proverbs, but anytime you're reading the Bible, one of the primary things you ought to be looking for is, what can I learn from those in the past? What can I learn from those in the past? Because the Bible teaches us that one of the primary reasons why it has been written is so we can use it so that we can better how we are today. Okay? That's why we should read it. So if we read the Bible and then still continue to do the same things we've always done, what does that make us? It makes us a fool. Right? I didn't say it. You just said it. Okay? All right. Okay, so everybody ready? So here we go. I was just giving folks time to get in. That's basically what I was doing. Okay. So, all right. So Proverbs 13, verse 15. So we're going to take 15 and 16 together. All right? 15 and 16 together. This is what it says. Good understanding giveth favor, but the way of transgressors is hard. Every prudent man dealeth with knowledge, but a fool layeth open his folly. All right? Now, if you take those two verses together, what it ought to do is to help us deal with folk. Okay? Because it says, good understanding giveth favor, but the way of transgressor is hard, right? It's saying that some of this. The more you understand a person, okay? The more you understand a person, and if you're wise, if you understand a person, what will you do? If I understand a person, and if I'm wise,
you listen to him.
I will act on what I understand about the person. Right? So it's saying what? If I understand you and act on that understanding, the result will be you will like me. That's what favor is. You will like me. Right? If you will like me, I will get benefits from you. Okay? Isn't that simple? It's just so straightforward, right? That even a fool can see it. Right? A fool won't act on it, but a fool can see it. Right? Similarly, the more I understand God, and act on my understanding of God, the more God will like me, or the more God will give me favor. Right? And that's what that's laying out there. So that's why it's saying, what? If I am smart, I will act on what I know. If I am a fool, I will keep doing what I've always done. That's what those verses are saying. Now, how does that play out in a practical sense? Okay, here's the thing. Everyone in here we all have people in our lives, right? All of us have people in our lives, friends, spouses, whatever. Okay, right. Now, here's the thing. How many times have you known that a person knows what makes you mad and do it anyway? Right? Now, they know you're going to get mad, but they do it anyway, right? Solomon says that's a fool. What is the benefit of making me mad? There's none, is it? None. But people do it anyway. Ergo, he says that's a fool. Because if I know something makes you mad, I should avoid it at all costs. Because my aim in life is to get you to benefit me. If I want you to benefit me, then I should be doing things that I know do not upset you. And that's not hard to do. It's not hard not to upset people. We just don't like to live that way. Right? We like to get it in every once in a while. Twist it like that. Right? And you know people that do you that way. But also what? We do people that way. All right? And the same thing with God. I know in our minds we say, well, I don't upset God. Now, you know you're lying when you say it, right? But we do upset God. And we even, the more you understand God, the more opportunity you have not to upset him. But think about how that would make God feel. That you know me well, and you still doing what you know makes me upset. Right? Consider this. Anybody here not read Genesis? Okay, here's what you know in Genesis. The Bible says, God said, it repented me that I made man. Right? Right. That's in the book, ain't it? Yes. What does that mean when he said, I repented me that I made man? Huh? Right. These folk are getting on my last nerve. That's what he's saying, basically. That's just regular everyday talk, right? These folk getting on my last nerve. I wish. Well, I mean, he ain't saying I wish, but you know what I'm saying. But if it was us in our conversation, it would be, I wish I hadn't had them jokers, right? Okay. Now, he's saying it because what? The more you understand him, the more he expects you not to get on his nerves. Right? Now, think about how often we get on God's nerves. Huh? We lying before we even get up there. We're thinking a lie. That's right. So he's saying what? When that happens, we are losing favor, right? And so that makes our way hard. That makes your way hard. Because when we have good favor with God, right, we're getting God's blessings. When we have good favor with people, we're getting their blessings. Okay, because even your enemy will treat you better if you don't make them mad. Right? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, make sense to you? All right. 17 is kind of a standalone verse. All right? A wicked messenger falleth into mischief, but a faithful ambassador is health. Remember the old saying, beware of the dog that brings the bone? Right? This is what it's referring to. The point that he's making, Solomon's making is this, is that oftentimes, the messenger will affect the validity of the message. And that sometimes you have to be careful, not of the message, but of who brought you the message. Because the person that brings you the message can twist it such that it creates animosity. Because some folk like mess. Right? And since some folk like mess, that means you have to always be careful about the messenger as well as the message. Okay? Oh, that's sweet. He buzzing in. His wife, he done took y'all place.
Haven't seen him since 6 o'clock this morning.
See, because they ain't seen us for a whole 12 hours. They come and give each other a kiss.
I know that's right.
That's right. There you go. What's up? Go on over there and give your wife a kiss. Come on, give your wife a kiss. There you go. There you go. I'm jealous. My wife ain't here. You better know it. But this also says something about us, right? Because if we know, see, here's what we don't know. If we know that we have a messy messenger, right? If we know we have a messy messenger, why do we take the message as if it is the gospel?
I know that's right. Come on. Come on now.
Why? We know how they are.
Yeah.
But we'll let them tell us something and then get all upset. And then had to thank them. Thank you for letting me know. Well, we know they messy.
That's right, Pastor. That's right.
Right? And so if you look at it on the flip side, it says for us, right, stop listening to everything messy people tell you.
That's right.
Right? I'm saying this right now for my own benefit, okay? For my own personal benefit. Anytime somebody tell you that I said something, come to me. Because folk lie on me all the time. Or they twist my words all the time. They'll say, the pastor said, just for validity. Right, pastor said, right? Come to me and ask me for myself. Because I could be saying something, you know, and they take it and twist it. And now you mad at me like I said something against you.
Yeah.
You know. Because y'all, this is a thing, this is a true story. This is a true story. There was a woman that was a member of this church. She was, remember I said what? Was a member of this church. Was, that I had been knowing her for about 20 years. 20 years, okay? A new person joined the church and said to her that I didn't like her. And she left the church. Now my thing is, why would you let a new person tell you about me when you've been knowing me longer than they have?
That's right.
But it don't just happen to me, it happen to y'all too. Okay? So I'm just saying, especially when it concerns me, come to me. But I'll also tell you when it concerns anybody. Anytime somebody bring you some mess that somebody else said, don't just take it at face value. Go back to the original person and say to them, excuse me, I just heard. And then tell them who said it too. See, don't say all the stupid stuff like y'all do.
Don't say
I don't
that.
want to tell you who said it. No.
Don't tell me.
Put them on blast.
There you go.
That'll stop them from always spreading some stupid stuff. Put them on blast. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. He told me that you said that my wife was ugly. That's what he said. He really called my wife ugly. Right. So you put them on blast, and what? Then they'll stop all that mess. But when you walk around saying, well, I can't tell you who's seated now. Why are you protecting a gossiper?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's like a Sunday service.
If you bold enough to tell the story, be bold enough to own up that you said it. See, if it's true, you don't care.
That sounds like a Sunday service.
Right? Can I get amen?
Amen. You need to preach that Sunday.
That's right.
You need to preach that Sunday.
That's right. See, I ain't shaming my stuff. I talk about you in front of your face and behind your back, but I ain't shaming. And if I talk about you behind your back, here's what you can bank on. I will never say nothing behind your back that I won't tell you in front of your face. That's just how I am. That's how my whole family is.
I must belong to your family.
Huh?
I said I must belong to your family.
Because I love talking about people, I'm telling you right now. But it don't mean I don't like you. That's the thing. I see, just because I talk about it don't mean I don't like you.
That's right.
Matter of fact, that's who I talk about. People I don't care a lot for, I don't even talk about you. Because you ain't funny to me. But I'm not going to start mess. I'm not going to talk about something to start mess. I'm not going to talk about something to make you dislike him. Now I'm going to tell you something funny he did. You know, but I ain't ashamed of it. Because what? If you did something funny, everybody know you did it anyway. You know, I ain't trying to hide nothing. Because if I'm trying to hide something, you ain't going to know about it. Okay, but anyway, let's move on. Okay? 18 through 20. Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction, but he that regardeth reproof shall be honored. The desire accomplished is sweet to the soul, but it is abomination to the fool to depart from evil. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be dismissed. All right? Simple to state is what this is saying. That a fool will rarely listen to instruction. And this will result in his shame and him not getting all he can get. All right? That wise men want correction. Why? I'm saying men, but you know, men and women. Wise people want you to correct them when they are wrong. Fools only want you to substantiate their foolishness. Okay? So that's the thing. And again, you know, like I know, that there are a lot of people that all they want is for you to substantiate what they already believe. Okay? Now, here's the folly of that thing. Okay? Now, I'm talking to church folk, right? I'm talking to church folk. Okay? Now, since I'm talking to church folk, I want y'all to understand that I'm talking to church folk. Okay? You don't talk where I'm coming from? Now, because here's what a lot of church folk fail to realize. It is not my job to tell you you're right. See, that's not my job. God didn't appoint me to say amen to you. God appointed me to tell you where you are wrong so you can be better.
That's right.
Wise people, when the pastor says something they don't agree with, stop and listen and say, you know what? Let this chill in me for a while. Let me see what I need to do. Or let me go back to him and say, can you please show me in the scripture where I err? Okay? The fool will say, well, I'm just as grown as he is. I can read the Bible like he can read the Bible. Now, why does that make the person a fool? Anybody?
Refusing instruction.
Huh?
Don't want to hear correction.
Because if they believed the Bible, right? We talked about that early on, right? About how you're going to please God. About what? When I understand God, I will do what? I will do what he said. This is what God said. I will appoint you pastors according to my own heart, that they may lead you and guide you. Now, do you think let's go back in history for just a little bit, all right? Do you think for one instance that when they left Egypt land, nobody but Moses knew how to get to the Jordan River? I know, right? They knew how to get there.
Right.
And also, here's the other thing. Do you know when they left to go to the promised land, God sent them in the opposite direction than where the Jordan was? The opposite direction. Then the folk complained, why are he taking us this way? He done lost his mind. But God knew what he wanted done. So he sent them that way for a reason. And he said, listen, I'm sending them this way because I want Pharaoh to know I'm God. Right? But that don't mean they didn't know how to get to the Jordan. See, there are people who will say things like, I can read like he can read. Okay, yeah, but that don't mean God is giving you what he's already given me. Most folk don't understand what they read. That's number one. That's two, right? I ain't going to say that, though. That's why I use the other example. Right? But you're right. There are plenty of people that don't understand what they read. Now, and here's why. Because when you're reading the Bible, you have to understand a couple of things. Number one, the context and the content. See, if you don't understand the context and the content, you get the wrong idea about what it means. Because the assumption will be you interpret it based on 2019, as if 2019 culture is the same as 3000 BC culture, and it wasn't. So that's the other thing. So if you're not a student of history and know enough about that culture to put in the right context what they're talking about, you get the wrong idea. That's the other thing. But the point is simple, and that is that oftentimes we want people to substantiate our beliefs. And not just biblically. I just use that term. Why? Because I'm going to be teaching you something. You know, since in the past I want you to understand that thing, right? Is that when you're being taught and when you're being preached to, stop acting like you know more than the person preaching to you. Or at least the person that you said was your pastor. Anyway, let me put it out there. At least remember that person. And just say, you know what, let me go, let me work this thing through, all right? But it also works in life in general, okay? Have you ever been around people and especially, and they want you to get on their side? So basically what they're saying is this: I want you to help substantiate my already belief, what I already believe. And then they get mad if you don't. They say something like this: I thought you was my friend. You're supposed to be my friend. You're supposed to be my me, my sister, my brother, my this, my that. No. Right, right, or you just don't understand. So they gotta tell you again the same thing 4 or 5 different times. But they ain't gonna change nothing, right? Let me give you an example of what I'm referring to. Why it doesn't matter. You remember when Joshua was getting ready to go to battle against Jericho? Remember he's out there and he's getting ready, and all of a sudden he sees this figure, this great warrior appears under him. And so he goes to this great warrior and he says to this warrior, he says, listen, who are you? And why are you here? Are you here for my enemy, or are you here for me? And the warrior says to him, I'm here for neither one of y'all. I'm here in the name of the Lord. Right? He's letting him know what? I ain't got to agree with you. I'm here for what's right. And that's how we ought to be thinking. That, listen, it's not I have to be right. It's I have to get what's in the Bible. Because if your way is right, that means you God. And last I checked.
Nobody ever named God.
Huh?
Nobody named God.
Last I checked. Right. Didn't work that way. Okay? All right. Everybody good on that? Yes. Okay, all right. 21:22. Evil pursueth sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. All right? So what we're talking about here basically is what? How we obtain blessings and how we keep moving the blessings forward. Right? How we obtain them and how we keep moving them forward. All right? So he's saying what? If I want to get wealth, then what I have to do is understand something. I need to do the right thing because it's right. Because when you get stuff in the wrong way, it's hard to hold on to it. Okay? It's kind of like when you get the hookup. Nobody got wealth to get the hookup. Right? I mean, you don't get wealth in getting the hookup. No, you don't. No. I mean, how many of y'all got fire sticks in here right now? I mean, and getting the illegal stuff. Now, just because you got a fire stick don't mean you're getting the hookup. But some folks got fire stick and doing it the wrong way. Right? And just like, for example, how many of you all know drug dealers that still live home with their mama? How many of y'all know drug dealers still live with their girlfriend? Isn't that crazy? That's the stupidest thing you ever heard of, isn't it? Yeah, but it's true, okay? All right? Now. Right? In the basement, right? In the back room somewhere, counting money. Then when they get locked up, now what?
Calling a mama.
They call their mama, come bail them out, and they get them 15 years, then they still broke again. All right? Yeah. But see, a wise man, leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. Now, what does that say about the wise man? If you're going to leave inheritance for his children's children. It's absolutely true. But here's what this is also what it's saying. If you are unable to leave an inheritance for your children's children, then you did not live your life in a wise manner. Wow. If at the end of your life, see, here's what's true about us in our culture. It's true our culture. Most of us in our culture did not live wise. I'm not saying everybody, but most of us, because most of us have to start over. Yeah. Every generation starts anew. No one starts you off ahead of the game for the most part. I'm not saying that it's true here, but most of you, like, you know, my parents didn't leave me a house. You know, did anybody say parent left your house? I mean, some of y'all might have, but you know, most of us start all over. So if everybody has to start from scratch, it's extremely hard for you to really get what we should have, right? If you look at the Old Testament and how they did business, that's why remember in the Old Testament when they severed the land was there for in perpetuity, so that all the offspring always started out with something. Everybody started with something, and that's what we should be doing. Okay, now, that's why I encourage you guys, and remember in the past I encouraged you. I talked about how to develop financially, how to develop yourself from a biblical basis. Because when you develop yourself financially from a biblical basis, you start the cycle. You break that cycle, and you start a new cycle, so that the people coming after you don't start from scratch. You know, that even though you may not benefit, your children get a great benefit because they didn't start from scratch. Now, what that means is this for all you got life insurance. What that means is this: they can't wait till you die to get some money, man. Because if you died at 85 and you had them when you were 25, now they 60. You know what I'm saying? See, our thought process often is, well, I got life insurance, and I'm gonna leave them some money. They already established themselves by then, right? What you want to do is help them establish themselves. What? When they're in their 20s, they're not starting from scratch. So in 20s, they benefit from your wealth, and that way, see, when they do it, that teaches them something. So then when they get in, they set aside for their children. So when they're in their 20s, they're benefiting from their parents. And that's how you establish that, so everybody moves forward. Okay? Y'all follow what I'm coming from? Yeah. So I know you got life insurance and everything. And I know folk told you that life insurance was for death. But the term is called life insurance. Not You know, it's the difference between death insurance and life insurance. Right? Insure life. Don't insure death. Don't try to make your kids rich when you die. Give them, don't get, that's a reason then to pull the plug early, right? I'm living in the hospital.
So what if you're in your 20s and you're playing catch up?
Huh?
What if you're in your 20s and you're playing catch up?
If you're in your 20s and you're playing catch up, then you start to know right then what? I need to start putting something aside for the next generation. You always put something aside for the next generation. It's not hard to do. You don't have to put a lot, but it's not hard to do. Because if you got nothing, that means what? Something is better than nothing, right? I can give you a quick thought process. You know, I can tell you what I did with my kids. I'm telling you to do this. I tell you what I did with my kids. And there is some funds I got for my kids, like I mentioned on Sunday. They ain't got it yet. Why? Because I'm gonna give you not too much. That's what the scripture says, right? Lord, don't give me too much, or I might mess around and forget you, God. But don't give me too little, because I'm gonna steal and get it. Right? So I gotta balance it out with them. It makes sense. I put money away from my children from the time they were born. I kept putting money away from them. I told them all the time that they were going to say, this is what I'm doing for y'all. I'm putting money away for you now. I'm putting money away for you now. And here are your choices. You can get a scholarship to go to college, and every dime I put away, when you graduate, you get it. Right? That means you have the equivalent of 4 years tuition sitting in the bank account for you when you graduate. Or you can be dumb and not get a scholarship, and I just pay your college tuition. But either way, I start you off better. Why? Because now you graduate with zero debt. No student loan, zero debt. Right? And if you've got some sense, you say, I ain't going to a university for the first 2 years. I'm going to community college so I can still bank some money. I ain't staying on campus. I'm staying at home. But if you stay at home, you're still under my rules. But just 2 years, you got to be under my rules again, right? Then when you graduate, you got a little residual. You graduated, got a little residual, got some money. That's what I did. Now, one of my children, well, take that back. One of them did half of it. The other one just said, well, hey. I said, thank you, that's fine. Now, that's not what I got. I started what? From scratch. Started from scratch. And most of you all probably started from scratch. Now, if you think about it, especially if you're a baby boomer. If you're a baby boomer, you think about this. Most baby boomers, children are doing worse than they did. Really think about it. Most baby boomers bought homes before their children, bought homes when they were young. Their children couldn't buy homes when they were young. I mean, I say young, like baby boomers for the most part were buying homes in their early 20s. I mean, a lot of them were anyway, not everybody, but a lot of them were. But by the time your children got up, they couldn't do that. They stayed with you for a while, sucking up your air conditioning, raising up your money, your bills, and then they moved out the house. Okay, all right. Huh? Say again. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So so it's more important when you think about it from that standpoint. Because if we invested in our children like he put wealth away for our children, like it's saying, let me get another easy way to do it. Another easy way to do it. Let's say you got your home, right? This is what one of my finance instructors told me to do, which I did. Let's say you got your home, right? And you start out with a 2-bedroom townhouse, right? And that's what you first get because it's you, right? Then you move. You say, well, we get married. We're gonna move out. You don't sell the townhouse. You rent it out, and you buy you another house. Whoever's renting the townhouse is making the payments for you, right? Now, when your child becomes an adult, you tell the renter, I'm sorry, but you got to go. And you give the townhouse to your child. If you have 2 children, you give it to both of them. And you say to them, we're going to sell it, and y'all want to split the proceeds. On one condition, that you take the money and buy another house. Because I'm not going to give you the money to go out here and squander. I'm going to give you the money only for you to invest it somewhere. And so if both of them buy homes, now they're starting it all over again as well. And that way you keep pushing the blessings forward. Okay? No, they ain't no do. You start right now, see? You ain't got no kids right now, though. No, okay. You got a rich girlfriend? Well, that's number one. You got to find you a rich girlfriend. Anybody got any daughters rich? Or you looking for a girlfriend?
She ain't gonna be rich. I'm good.
No, she ain't. If she got some money, she ain't never too old.
Talk to him, dog.
I'm teaching him.
I know that's right.
She ain't too old. Matter, you ain't too old.
Oh, man.
We got okay, let's move on. We got company in the house, y'all straight up. Okay, 23, 25. 23 and 25. 24 is a standalone, so we're going to 23 and 25. Much food is in the tillage of the pool, but there is that is destroyed for want of judgment. 25 says, the righteous eateth to the satisfying of his soul, but the belly of the wicked shall want. Okay? So here's what this is basically what it said. A wise man uses poverty as motivation. That's what they're saying. A wise person uses adversity as motivation. Wise people don't complain about their situation. They figure out a way to use their situation to their advantage. And they work harder because of their situation, rather than giving up all the time.
Can you repeat that? You said wise people use poverty as what?
Poverty as motivation. Okay? Right? And listen, I'm not trying to tell you I'm the wisest person in the world, but I can tell you this. I use poverty as motivation. I did. I use poverty as motivation. Okay, now my mother, don't tell my mother I said it, okay? Keep it to yourself. That's what it is. All right. Now, don't be on the practice. So she don't like me to talk about, how things were going, but Bob, we were poor. She don't like we won't poor, we were poor. I remember one Christmas, all I got was a coloring book. A coloring book for Christmas. Now I got this, when you go to school, they take, what y'all get for Christmas? Right? Okay, so we lied. Me and my sisters got together and said, look, we can't tell these folks all we got was a coloring book. So we was going to say we got a color TV for Christmas. They knew we were lying. We didn't even have a TV in the whole house. But we had to say something, right? A coloring book. The next Christmas we got 0 for Christmas. Now mother said this, y'all know it ain't no Santa Claus. It's too late about it. So one person got a toy with my baby sister because she said she believed in Santa Claus. Poor, okay? Now, I made up my mind back then. Ain't no way in the world. And that's why I I don't eat neck bones. Why? Because ain't no meat on them. I ain't got time to be fighting. I ain't fighting them. When I first got married, my wife had nickels on barbecue neck bones. I said, girl, you crazy. I ain't eat no barbecue neck bones, but they taste good. I don't care. Go and get some pork chops. Go and get some ribs. I ain't fighting for no meat no more. I'm done with that. I'm done. It was a motivator for me to say what? If the only reason why I won't eat it is because I don't want to eat it. I will never again not eat because I can't afford to eat it. It was a motivator. You know how I always tell people, if your name ain't on the lease, you homeless? Remember that? You know how to do that? Because I got put out of a house one time. I slept in my car. I got put out one time, and I said, you know what? This will never happen again. Never. It motivated me. I said, from now on, my name will be not on the lease. My name will be on the deed. Ain't putting me out no more. That's right. It was a motivator for me. You know, let me tell you something. I didn't get mad. I mean, I take that back. I did get a little angry with the person that did it to me. But my thought was this. I didn't get mad and walk around, oh, they just didn't know. You know why? Because it was me. I took personal, see, this is what this is talking about, taking personal responsibility. Yeah, the person put me out. But you know the deal was? I was the fool that didn't have my name on the lease. So I should have been mad, which I was mad at me. That's why I left my car and just made a decision. That, you know what? This will never happen again. Just that simple, right? And so it ought to motivate you. When someone puts you in that position, don't get mad at the person. Ladies, I'll tell you right now. Okay, I'm telling you like your mama told you that you didn't believe. Okay, you know, I'm not. Listen, listen, ladies. I'm not telling you to go against the Bible. That's not what I'm telling you. So don't have an exit plan. I know what y'all do. Y'all got some money hidden that you don't know about. I'm not telling you to have an exit plan. What I'm telling you is this. Okay, if you are ever left alone, same thing about babies' mamas. If you are ever left alone, stop blaming the other person for your financial situation.
That's right.
Use that as a motivator to say, you know what? You may have left me down now this time.
Never.
But you know what? Never again.
Amen.
I bet you what? I bet you the next time it won't happen. And not only that, the person that did not get the benefit of your being there, you show them that they should have kept you.
Amen. Amen.
Let that be a motivator. Let it be a motivator to show them that they should have kept you. You rise above where you are. You know? That's what you do. Getting mad does not put you in a better place. All it does is got you mad. And when you're mad, you don't think straight. Be motivated by where you are to be better, not to be angry. Okay? All right. 24. That's another standalone verse, right? 24 says, it's similar to the other two, but it's about a different reference point. All right. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chastens him betimes. Right? That means what? Whenever he needs it, you ain't got a problem.
Straighten them out.
Straightening them out.
That's right.
Okay. Now, that simply says what? Stop being afraid to chastise your children. It ain't cute when these little jokers talking back to you. It's not cute. It ain't cute. And they talking back to grown people. It ain't cute. It knock them out. Knock them out. Let me say this, because I realize that for some of you, and I see y'all choosing amen this one right here.
Sure did.
It was amen and everything before. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. That is. But look, here's the thing. I realize that in 2019, there is a law against, abusing your children. Right? Now, let me say this too. And the Bible says what? Whoop them. The Bible says whoop them. But I'm gonna give you. I'm not telling you that what this says. I'm not telling you this is wrong at all. But I'm just giving you some extra advice. Okay? Here's the deal. I didn't whip my children. No, my wife did. Somebody got to be the bad guy. No, I was the bad guy, not her. I was the bad guy. I didn't say I didn't punish him. I said I didn't whoop him.
That's right.
Now my punishments were worse than hers. I learned that from my father. I learned from my father that whooping is not the worst punishment.
That's right.
No, but let me give you an example of my punishments. No, I don't even do that. Here's my punishment. My daughter did something that was punishable. Right? It was punishable. Okay? Because everything is not punishable. I'm going to help y'all out, girls. Help y'all out. Everything is not punishable. Every mistake that a person makes does not deserve punishment. Because we all make mistakes. So some mistakes you use as an opportunity to teach. Right? To teach. But once I have taught you, then I know you are doing it in defiance of my teaching. So I got to make sure what? You understood my teaching, right? And now you're doing it in defiance of my teaching. But I always give you the consequences before you do it. Because when I teach you, I tell you what the consequence is going to be. Because everybody can make a mistake once in my house. Once. So they make the mistake one time, and I say, okay, the consequence is going to be this. Right? Okay? Here's it. This is a real world situation, all right? Now, my daughter brought home some D's. I said, listen, in this household, we can't have D's on report cards. You can get a C just because you put your name up there. At least had a common decency to cheat. Come in cheat. There's no D in my house. Cheat. I said, I'm telling you right now, if you got a D on your report card, you will get nothing for Christmas. Nothing. My mother-in-law said, he come with you something. I ain't open my mouth. She come home with some D's on her report card. Decorate the house, everything looking nice. Right? About 6 o'clock in the morning, this right here. But then it ran downstairs and won't nothing there with her name on. And she thumped back upstairs. Shut all that noise and go to sleep. Everybody tell me, shut up. That morning, I got up in the morning, we down there, better open the presents. She upstairs. Get your behind down here. Come down here, sit around the tree, and enjoy yourself. Well, I can't enjoy myself. I said, you better. You better be smiling. Because if you don't, I got something else for you. Because her birthday December 31st.
Oh.
So she'd come downstairs and watch us open presents up. And I said, this time, every time we open a present, everybody gonna clap. See, that's punishment.
Did your wife get her something? Did your wife get her something?
Oh no! If I say ain't nobody getting nothing, ain't nobody getting nothing. So she got nothing. Okay. What do you think happened next grading period? Grades up. Won't no D's on her book card. See, won't no whooping, but what? Grades come up on the book card.
Show you better, I can tell you.
Huh?
Show us better, you can tell them.
There you go. Same thing with my son. Like for example, like my son, same thing. I told him something. I said, listen, in my house, I gotta get up early in the morning. You can't come in my house late, because you ain't waking me up. Cause back then I got up early in the morning. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Come on now, baby. If you come in at a certain time, you better not come in that house. Stay but outside, sleep in the car. Right? I heard the car pull up. He was in the car asleep. My wife said, you open the door. I said, you crazy. I ain't open no door. Matter of fact, why are you waking me up? I went right back to sleep. About 4 o'clock, I heard something crank up. He drove off. Went to this. No, when he used the bathroom. And came back. 6 o'clock, time to go to work. I left out the house. Right? Said, all right, this is unlocked, man. He going in. He going in. They can get it again. Last time. Here's why I'm saying that to you. Because my mother whooped me, not one time, but several times. You know why? Because it don't last long. Once this thing is over, it's over with. And you move on. Matter of fact, I would make up in my mind. You be out somewhere having a good time, be like, this is worth a whooping right here. Worth a whooping. I ain't coming home. I'll take that whooping. Anytime, you act like you hurt. You go much better. Any question about 13?
No.
In the crazy amount, chapter 13. We good? We're going to move to 14. We got 10 minutes. We're going to 14. All right? 14. 14 is some good stuff in 14, too. I'm telling you right now. Some good stuff in 14. Chapter 14. All right? Good stuff. Y'all on chapter 14? All right. Verse number 1. Ladies, this for y'all. This for y'all. Verse number 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. Oh my God. This ought to be a Sunday morning sermon. Ladies, I try to tell you all, I tell this all the time. I know you all, someone said to me, he just don't like women. That ain't true. That's far from it. Let me tell you something. I'm trying to help y'all out all I can. You know why I try to help y'all out? Because my mother was a single parent. So I try to help y'all out all the time. But I understand why my mother was a single parent. Okay? Now here's the deal, ladies. You all don't know the power that you have. Literally, I'm telling you. You don't know the power that you have. You just don't. If you did understand the power you have and used it in a constructive way, you all would get everything you desire. Everything you desire. Now, I want you to think about something for a second. What in most of our thinking, what was the first sin committed? What was the first sin? Huh? Oh, no, think about it now. What? Adam and Eve, right? And what happened? The first sin that we have as a recorded, right, was them disobeying God by eating of the forbidden fruit, right? Who prompted them to eat of the forbidden fruit? Who? No. Okay, well, who led the charge in eating the fruit? Eve, the woman. Why was God angry with Adam? Because he said, you knew what to do. Why would you let her tell you to do what's wrong? She had the power. You don't understand your power. So most women do just the opposite of what they said a wise woman should do. Most women tear their homes down rather than build their homes up. Okay? I'm telling you, that's what they do. Because when you have a problem, I'm not saying homes, I'm talking, you know what it's talking about, right? It ain't talking about, your children. It's talking about your relationships and messing your household up. All right? Because most times, I'm not saying men got good sense. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. If you think the man ain't got good sense, why are you treating him like he do have good sense? Because that don't make sense. If you think the man's stupid, stop trying to force him to be wise. Treat him like he's stupid. Wouldn't that make sense? If you know your husband ain't got good sense, why are you getting mad because he ain't got good sense? Why don't you treat him like he's crazy? Why? You got the advantage. Why? You just said you smarter than him. Use your smartness against his stupidity. But you know what y'all do? The opposite. You ain't nothing. You just so stupid. I'm so sick of being with this stupid man. I don't know what to do. You can't do nothing right. Now that made me feel so much better. Now I feel great about myself. All this time I thought I was smart. Thank you for helping me understand myself. And then the other woman come along and say, she don't know what she got in you. You are smart. She just evil. When she say you evil, you know what he be saying? You're right. She is evil. I am a good man. I might not be everything, but at least I'm here. I do take the trash out. I mean, see, you don't know. Listen, like women say to me, I can't get my husband to come to church. You can't. You can get a man to say I do. But you can't get him to come to church. can get a man to take you shopping which he don't want to do, you can get him to come to church. You know why you can't get him to come to church? Because you dog out people in the church. That's why. And because if he speaks to another woman in the church, you're mad at it. So that's why he's saying, you know what, let me avoid church because I don't feel like going to the problems. Because you done told me all them devils in church. Every time you come home, you talk about the devils in the church. So why would I go to church to get a devil when I go to the club to see a devil? I'm never to church to Why I go to hell with church folk when I go to hell with drinking folk? These drinking folk, I'm going to enjoy myself. The power that women have, you don't understand. Build people up in your house. Build, if you married and you got a man in your home, build him up. Don't tear him down. Help him realize how he's playing. Especially, listen, all of us in here got black in. I want y'all to understand something. I want you to understand something. I had to have this conversation with my wife a long time ago. You all say you understand the plight of the black man in America. But when he gets home with you, you forget everything you know. Everywhere he goes, people are trying to make him feel like he's nothing. And then he come home and you amen it.
That's right.
No, somewhere he ought to be able to go somewhere and feel like he's a king.
Right.
So if you make him feel that way,
I was thinking in my head,
see, but think about it. Remember we said what? The first we start what? Understand. If you understand what we go through. You understand what we've dealt with. You talk about it all the time how they deal with black men, how the police deal with black men, how people deal with black men. How if we walk down the street and somebody see us, they go on the other side of the street. See, they don't do it with y'all. But if we walk on the street, that's what they do. They get on the other side of the street. They hold their purse. If we get on the elevator, am I right? If we get on the elevator, the first thing they do is they clutch that purse and they hit the next button. They go to the 14th floor. But when we get on, they hit the next button. And then they get off. Am I right? And then they just get off. So we dealing with all that. Then we come home and then you say, well, you ain't nothing. And, and my girlfriend husband, he doing all this. And oh, Lord. And put up with mess, all that. I got to come up with this stuff too. Build him up. If you build him up, he'll work like a dog. He'll work hard. Because you know why? Because everybody wants to feel good. Make him feel good. I know y'all want to feel good too. But see, remember, y'all said y'all was smart. We didn't. No, but it's the truth. Y'all the ones always saying how smart y'all are. Y'all the ones always saying what? We mature earlier than men. Am I right? But ain't that what y'all say? Don't y'all say that women mature faster than men? Don't y'all say women are smarter than men? Act like it. If you think we're stupid, I'm saying what? Act like it. That's your power play. I'm trying to help you, and then y'all trying to tell me what I'm doing is wrong. See? Y'all not what? You're not taking instruction because it goes against what you already thought.
I got it now.
And I've been a man all my life, and I'm trying to tell you how to make a man work hard for you. That's all you got to do. I can tell you right now, my wife understands it. Now she just like y'all. Sometimes she forget it. but she know if she want me to do something real, all she do something. You know what? When I was sitting there thinking, and I was watching you cut that grass. You know what? You know what? You be cutting some grass, man. I got a little better than everybody, y'all. I know. See, and then what I'm gonna do? Even though I know she's doing some. I be thinking, let me go get some flowers put out here so I can really. Okay, all right, all right. Listen, I got 8 o'clock, so we're gonna start on chapter 2. Verse 2. Verse 2. All right. Listen, thank you all so much for tonight. God bless you. Heaven smile upon you. I'll see you on Sunday. All right.